Bro, the dude was doing moonsaults at 53. Like literally moonsaults at 53, never batting an eye. Bro, never an issue creatively. Like, I mean, then I work with him, over at WCW again, and just a pleasure to work with.
All right, so we got some sobering, somber news this week. This has been a really tough week for professional wrestling in general. As of this taping, we got two major deaths. We got a WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk, the hardcore legend, dying. We also have Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, dying as well. Really sad week for wrestling. Terry Funk being almost 80 years old. That was tough, very tough, but expected. Expected. So it wasn't necessarily a huge shocker. He's done his fair share in the business. He's lived the average lifespan, and he's left many memories for wrestling fans and wrestlers alike. So there's lots of fondness when it comes to Terry Funk. But we'll start with that. We'll start with the fondness of Terry Funk and just thoughts on his passing. And Vince, you worked a lot with Terry Funk. What say ye?
Yeah, bro. The first thing that came to mind when I heard that was, first of all, bro, he was almost 80, and bro, the punishment this man put on his body, I can't, wow, the fact that he almost made it to 80 was to me, cause yeah. But bro, when I think of Terry Funk, I mean, the first thing I think of is, bro, this was a man's man. This was just a legit tough guy, old school, no nonsense. I mean, my God, bro, when I was working with Terry at a WWF, bro, in 97, 98, whatever, bro, the dude was doing moonsaults at 53. Literally moonsaults at 53, never batting an eye. Bro, never an issue creatively. Then I work with him, over at WCW again, and just a pleasure to work with. Just somebody, bro, that absolutely loved the business. I just wish, bro, here's the sad thing, because when I think about what Terry Funk represented, we need more of that with today's young wrestlers. Yeah. And bro, as the veterans get older and pass away, there is less and less of an impact from those people to pass along. You know what I'm saying? That's the really sad part, man. One by one, we're losing just some great people who built this business. And these young wrestlers today are never, ever going to get that knowledge, man. Bro, I would have one conversation with Terry Funk, and he would say things I'd remember the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And that's what I think, Chris, is really going to be missed.
For sure. What I think is interesting about Bray is that about Terry Funk is that this guy totally changed his wrestling style nearly 30 years into his wrestling career. Yeah. So he started, I believe, 65. He was about 21. And when ECW came around, when they were Eastern Championship Wrestling, he was one of the biggest names there. And that was 93. So that was nearly 30 years into his wrestling career. He's going from traditional style, still kind of hardcore-ish, table, the branding iron and stuff like that. He had a way to him, Amarillo, Texas, right? So he had a way toward him that was really no nonsense, But as far as just the traditional style heel that he was, shifting that over to moonsaults and breaking through tables and, just the gear that he had, almost 30 years in his career, man, just really goes to show. I mean, like, there's no other person who had as many retirement matches as Terry Funk did. He had a retirement match every year, basically, for a long part of his career, but he still came back. I remember in WCW, man, he was pinned as middle-aged and crazy. That was his WCW moniker, and he was still going at it, man. Like you said, doing moonsaults in the year 2000, man. 35 years into his career, man. So I think that's really, really cool about Funk, man. Just a never give up, never say die attitude. And it really shows the work ethic that a lot of these wrestlers can have. He's still a main eventer, still real big, still known, but just tough. Yeah, I mean, just that toughness that he can have.
Who would like tough? Oh, like raw steak tough. Just what a man, a man's man. I knew Terry Funk from Roadhouse before I even knew he was a wrestler.
Right, yeah.
I grew up watching Roadhouse.
Yeah,
dude.
Absolutely.
I think it's, to what Vince said, it's up to us to at least pass on the knowledge that we've gotten from these veterans. That's one thing too. Like one of the things about wrestling is you want to get into a car with a veteran because you're going to learn so much and they're going to talk. And the answer is yeah, they do. But like nobody transcribes it. Like I started trying to collect things I've remembered people said and writing them down, but like I've been bashed in the head countless times too, where I forget a lot that it is lost knowledge, and the way they can think through any different scenario because they've worked so intuitively their whole career.
Yeah,
I would flabbergast, modern talent, but it's up to us to at least pass on the knowledge that these people existed and they are excellent. And when you take away the glitz and the glam of what you think wrestling is, because it's horrible now, but that's what you're seeing on TV and that's what you came up on, and you look back at it and it's, it's uglier, it's grittier, it's dirtier, it's more realistic, but then at the same time, it's not as flashy, but you can see storytelling. And I think like Terry Funk's greatest legacy is just the unique way he sold things.
Yeah.
Like anybody that's a little crooked in the brain, Bray, myself, like a Moxley, you could see how they take intricacies of how he would sell things and use them into these modern times. So,
well, before we go on,
too. God, I love
he had a horrible looking pile driver though, but he had that's spinning toe though. That was money.
Now, my favorite thing, bro, like I can remember like it was freaking yesterday where like I think his signature thing that I'll always remember is when he was getting rocked, bro, and he was selling dead on his feet, like, and then, bro, he would do that, and then the swing of the swinging, bro. I remember that like I'm watching him right now. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like that's freaking entertainment, and that's wrestling, bro.
Speaking of punches, like.
Yeah. Exactly.
If there was one thing, like one big angle that you remember from Funk, what was it? I'll go with first, Vince.
Oh man, I'll just go, and that's why I thought of him immediately. I'll go everything and anything. Mick Foley and Terry Funk, bro. Anything. I don't care if it was in Japan. I don't care if it was in Mick's backyard. Sure. Like anything with those two guys, man. Oh my God, was brilliant. But I mean, bro, I go back to the Double Cross Ranch. When he played a straight up heel. Then they brought Dorian. I mean, I go way back then. But the stuff, my God, him and Mick did, bro, like is unbelievable.
Ace, what's yours?
Coming back to work Flair in the I Quit match.
Oh, yeah.
Making history instead of learning about Terry Funk.
Yeah.
That one really stood out. Because even then they were like, oh, he's old. He's about to be retired. It wasn't even close.
What about the empty arena match with Lawler in Memphis?
Lawler, yeah.
That was phenomenal. That's what inspired the halftime match, between Mick and Rock.
Nice.
Oh God, that was But you guys got to go watch that on YouTube. Please find that. It's incredible.
Yeah, for me, it was the angle with Flair too. It was, I believe it was, he was a judge with the Flair Steamboat match, right?
Very much a babyface coming in. There was like an old
coming in, he was doing some movies. He came back. He was a judge. Flair won, and then Funk he interviewed. He goes in, and he interviews Flair, right? And so he tells Flair like, "Hey, I want a shot. I want a shot at the title." And Flair's like, "Sorry, man, you gotta go to the back of the line." and Funk is like, well, "Excuse me," you know what I mean? Like Flair, he doubled down, man. I'm sorry, man. You gotta go to the back of the line. All of a sudden,
pile driver.
Boom! and then all of a sudden, that horrible looking pile driver through the table that tipped the table over. It didn't even break the table. It just tipped it over, but he was just like ruthless against Flair. That turn, and he felt right back home after spending time acting. He was the perfect heel to turn Flair over and make him beloved by the people. He was such a good heel.
That's the funny thing, Chris, because, listen, man, we review this show every week, and we just talked about it. We just talked about it this week that, we see the Rollins interview with the broken back, and you make this personal. Then we see him cross-dressing 2 seconds later, and you lose. That's where you lose the believability. We're talking about two guys that we lost, Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Bro, you believe that's who they were. Like that, you 1,000%. Terry Funk was crazy enough and tough enough to beat anybody. It didn't matter if it was Hulk Hogan. It didn't matter who it was. He had you convinced he was crazy enough and would do anything to beat anybody. Yeah. That's what's missing today, bro.
He had a persona that if you beat him, you had to kill him.
Yes, exactly, man.
The whole swinging thing that he would do, and just the playing the gimmick is like, nah, like you're gonna have to kill me if you want to beat me. You know what I mean? And he always had that, babyface or heel. He always had that to him. Like you're gonna have to completely take me out if you're gonna beat me. And 3 seconds, sure, you got me now, but I'm coming back with a branding iron, so you better watch your back. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of mentality that he always had, man.
Yeah, that's just what I miss, man.
I mean, in the business too, that's how you protect yourself and make something mean something. Oh, I'm losing. I'm being buried. No, you beat me for 3 seconds. I'm coming back with a branding iron. I'm absolutely crazy. It doesn't matter if I win, and it doesn't matter if I lose. I'm always going to be around, lurking on the top, doing damage. Yep. That's creativity. Yeah. Let's put yourself in a position to succeed too, and not depending on anybody else, because you cannot depend on anybody in this world, especially in this business.
Yeah, absolutely.